Hello and welcome to another one of my videos, and in today's video I'm going to go through some stock that come in today. But before I do go into what came in, firstly I wanted to say how much I appreciate people supported giving to the Little Princess Trust. All in all, I've got to chuck a couple of donations in because they were sent to my private account instead of via the website. But we're probably looking at about 1150, so almost double the target. I think that's an absolutely monumental effort, and I think the fact that it's going to such a worthy cause is only a good thing. It was nice to see that people from all areas of the community chipped in. I know there was people from Stacker Social, they chipped in. There was a gentleman who did an auction and he ended up chipping in, I think it was £100 off the auction. So hats off to everyone. I think it's a brilliant cause, and yeah, I think we've all done a good thing on that one. Now let's get into the video. So I did have two lots come in. One lot's already been moved on. The first lot, the gentleman sent me this as a gift. This is going in my collection. I really appreciate when people send me gifts. I've got a soft spot for American coinage, as people know. Speaking of American coinage, I'm not in the best of moods concerning American coinage. I sent off some silver dollars for grading. I thought they were some of the best coins that I'd personally seen. It turns out I'm not that good at grading, it would seem, because a lot of them were cleaned or altered surface. Make that what you will. They actually came in as Bullion uncirculated in one of those third-party sets. Make of that what you will. Saying that, it wasn't the end of the world. I had 9 graded, and wow, there was a Carson City in there that wasn't part of that set. That came back clean. I was kind of expecting that. I recently won a Carson City as well, 60 plus hammer, insane. The auctioneer just didn't list it properly. But yeah, I had 3 coins that come in at a grade. One was a 63, one was a 64, and one was a 58, and the others were cleaned or altered surface. So not the best time of it my end for my collection, but this will certainly be going in that collection. Lovely bit of history. So there's that. He also sent 10 ounces of silver, but they've already been moved on. Now, a gentleman that I know, that I've known for a long time, he said to me, he's like, sorry I haven't been around, I've got some bits I want to offload, do you want to buy it? I went, yeah, look, I've always got time to buy it, I'll just pay you what I can. I end up paying 97 across the board in terms of the gold. That's where the market's at, unfortunately. I think the days of paying spot or even over spot as a dealer are long gone, unless they're your more numismatic items. So this has been sold. I had to sell this. Basically, I didn't have enough money in my account. I worked out, I went, oh, I'm short. So I sent him a voice message saying, I'm really sorry, mate, I made a bit of a boo-boo here. I could pay you the bulk of it and I'll settle at the end of play, or you know, you can wait. It just turns out that the first person I spoke to ended up buying this, so I was able to pay him in full. Kind of embarrassing, but equally, when you've known someone the best part of a decade, you kind of let these things slide, you know. It's simply a case of I've been waiting so long for bits to come back. I reckon I've got probably £30,000 worth of stock coming back to me that I can liquidate relatively easy, and it's just waiting and waiting and waiting, and it is frustrating, but it is what it is. So my funds have been dwindling, they've been dripping, and that's just business. You're going to have times like that, and I also have times on the opposite end of the spectrum where I've got too much money and not enough stock. So make of that what you will. So there was a 20 mark, as I pointed out. This is kind of nice, but this is already gone, so this will get packed up after the video. There was a ducat. This will go for spot plus 10 plus post. Oh, that's what I'm listing it for. And there was a 1 ounce bar. This will go for spot plus post. I would have listed this for higher in the past. The market is just, it's just not there, unfortunately. And that's okay. You go through stages like this. As a dealer, you go stages where there's pockets of liquidity. You go stages where it's absolute frenzy. And you go stages where it really is a buyer's market, and I've been through all 3 of those stages multiple times. The trick is to balance your stock or your portfolio accordingly. these are one of the leaner times. But saying that, I can't really complain because, like I said in prior videos, I've got passive income coming in at a rate of knots, and in all honesty, the passive income practically pays the bills. So does it matter if the liquidity is slower? Not really. It's only when I've got to pay people that it becomes an issue. It's not because I've got to pay the bills. I do like this. I'm pretty sure that, no, I'm thinking of the Austrian Mint actually. There's one with like a horseback, but I'm pretty sure it's the Austrian Mint. But this is nice. I think this is a cool design. I've not had this in the ounce, or at least I can't remember. I have had it in the smaller, I was going to say denominations, but the smaller sizes. I need to be more precise with what I say. Someone said to me the other day, it's like, they're rounds and not coins, and I was just like, I'm being sloppy, I know. So speaking of rounds and coins, there was also 25 ounces of silver. There is a couple of, now I paid a spot plus the pound for these. Again, in the past I would have paid spot plus 3. There was a couple of these in, I just paid the same. I don't know if it's more or less. I know they're 925. I didn't weigh them, but I just said to the gentleman, I was like, is that okay? And he went, yeah, don't worry about it. So he might be slightly up, he might be slightly down. I should have checked it. You know what, let me get the scales out. This is really cool. This is a medallion. Let's weigh this. Let's see if my friend has come out on top or come out on bottom. It all tallies in the end anyway. That's the thing, when you deal with someone so long, it does tally. Oh, wow, this is 35.41. I don't have a calculator on me because I'm using my phone, but I'd hazard a guess to say that's practically an ounce. Wait, 0.9, lose 10%. Yeah, I'd say that's give or take an ounce. The other one, I should know because I've dealt with them before. I had loads of these in the past. These are John Pinches, I believe. They are hallmarked. This might even been one of mine. I got a load of these. Okay, so these are slightly heavier, but in terms of what I'm selling it for, I'm not going to get the premium like I will on these, so it probably does balance out. And if he's slightly up, you know, let him have it. He can have a pint of me any day of the week. I certainly don't have a problem with that. So yeah, there's 3 of these. These are worth better money. I always get really random batches from this gentleman. He does message me occasionally, probably every 6 months or so, when he wants to cash in some funds. And it's always random. Okay, there's 3 of these. I'm pretty sure they sell relatively easy. And then there's your more round, like, I think the rest are rounds actually. I like this design. I had this in 10th gold once and I was a bit sad to let it go. It went for pretty decent money. Oh, these are okay. These will do okay. Geronimo. I didn't know Geronimo was a person. It's news to me. Okay, pirate themed. These are probably worth around 33, these ones. I'd say these are worth 33. These ones here are probably worth 32. Maybe 31.50. You've always got to kind of feel the market out. There are people who genuinely like to collect these rounds. For me, would I have these over, say, a Brit or an Eagle? I know the Brits are CGT free, but in terms of design, would I have them over your coins? Probably not, but that's a personal preference thing. Doesn't mean I'm right and the person who would buy these over a coin is wrong. I think in the grand scheme of things, if you discount the CGT thing, and also that's going to change over the years, although once you lose it you never really get it back. So let's kind of go through these a bit faster because I thought there was more designs. That's why I was doing it slower. Okay, seen this one, piece dollar. Oh, okay, so but yeah, there are people who genuinely quite like these rounds. It's not for me to say what's right or wrong. Preference is fine. It's not a problem. I like brunettes between 5'4" to 5'8", you know. It doesn't work for everyone. You know, There's nothing wrong with having a preference. Right, okay. And then there's 2 buffaloes. So there you go. There's 3 separate designs, and there's those. But yeah, it's a relatively small order, but it's food for the furnace. You know, it keeps me going for a day or two, and that's all you want, really. Like, I'm finding I'm really struggling to get the big lots in at the moment. There's not much gold on the market, but I managed to find the lots that I got 100 quid here or 100 quid there. I had a deal the other day. I spent 305 quid, I think it was. There was 670 quid worth of stock in it. You know, I had a lovely day in Canterbury, although I had to carry back an obscene amount of coinage. So it had loads of, and the best thing is, it had loads of currency coins. So I sold the collectible ones. I put those to one side. I know there's going to be people who are, oh, you're just going to take it off the books. The reality is, it's going down the bank. I just haven't been down there, so I just need to cash it in. So what I'll do is I'll build it up, and then there'll be a few hundred quid. I think there's £82 in there worth of £2 coins. All the collectible stuff's gone. But yeah, I'm not finding the bigger lots. That's why you haven't really seen many videos from me concerning the bigger lots. I'm going to leave it there because someone's car's gone off, but you got the message. Take care, guys. Bye.